Hello everyone. Oh, my camera's frozen. That's a bad camera phrase. Hang on, let's restart that. Stupid camera. Let's restart that. Silly thing. There we go. Hey, we're live. I'll take another swig of my drink. Why is this gone all red over here? Hang on. Why is that all red? Oh, that was weird. Okay. Hello. How are we all doing? Tonight we are doing question time, which is a live show where you guys can ask me any question you like about Unreal, game development, favourite food, whatever. I don't really mind what you ask me. You can ask me whatever you like in the chat. If this is your first time, all you have to do is put your question into chat, and I'll try and catch them as I go. If I do miss your question, don't fret. Just keep putting it in there. I'll try and catch it as the night goes on. We usually run for about an hour, and we do this every Wednesday. So if you do miss it this time, don't panic. You have always got next week as well. So we have got a chat open on the side here. I want to say hello to a few people. So hello Sven, hello Jaglu, hello Mario, hello Ahmet, Zahid Games, Unreal YouTuber. Hello everyone. How are we all tonight? Hopefully everyone is all safe, well, and healthy. And we are about to get started over here. A few things, we've been adding a few things to, well, overall things really, ease of life things. So one of the new things I've introduced to the question time shows is that patrons, because you guys may not be able to watch the show live and ask the questions you want to ask, I've made a Discord channel where patrons can put in their questions in advance of the show starting. So if you have a question you want to ask but you can't make the show, don't worry, you just put a question in there. It's called question time queue jumpers. Just put it in there and I'll prioritize your question in the following show. So if you are a Patreon member, head over to the Discord channel and you'll find it there. It's called question time queue jumpers. Okay, so let's get started on that, and let's jump right into Unreal. Oh, I didn't hit the button correctly. There we go. Okay, so the first question actually comes from that Discord channel, and this is from TH Gaming. Let me just get the thing up here. So TH Gaming is asking, how can I create a reflection of a person if I'm using a first person camera? Is the only way to switch to true first person by adding a mesh and putting the camera at the head spot, or is there a tricky way to create a mesh reflection without needing to change from the FPS character? Thanks in advance. Now this depends on what kind of reflections you're doing. So the very first thing to worry about is that when you're adding any kind of mesh to your character, like this one here, the thing you want to look out for is the only owner can see or otherwise. Okay, so let's just jump into that and I'll show you where that is. So it depends on what you're doing with reflections. If you're doing real-time reflections, things like that, I believe all you need to do, I have to test this at some point, but I believe all you need to do is go to your mesh, and when you want to load up, there we go, you look for, just type in owner and you'll see owner no see and only owner see. So owner is whoever owns that actor. In this case it'd be the player character and player camera. So if you turn off owner no see, if you turn on owner no see, it means that you won't see that that thing. So here and here, if I tick this, I'm not going to see the character arm, sorry, the gun in this case. Okay, the gun's invisible. So what you have is you will have the first person camera, first person character, and you have the full mesh there, but you tick it as owner no see. That way it doesn't clip through the camera or anything like that, and it should hopefully reflect into the game. I'm trying to think if there's a way to test this out quickly. I'll come back to it in a minute. We'll see, but I'll try and set up a reflection type thing, so we can test it out properly. But that should do it. So that's for you, TH Gaming, and thank you for your comment in the Discord channel. Now heading over to the chat. What do we have over here? Thanks for joining us, Mario. Ahmed, you have a question but cannot explain what my question is. That would be tricky to try and solve. Yeah. I wouldn't call the stream pay to win, Commando. It's a benefit to those who want to help me. So yeah. Bartessus question. I have a little problem with achieving a cool lens effect in UI. I want it to be stretched on the border. You want the image of the screen to be stretched around the corner? Is that what you're talking about, Bartessus? Well, I'll wait for your response because there's a slight delay. I'll jump into someone else's question. Unreal YouTuber, how do I snap rotate a 2.5D character on the x-axis so I don't get rotation lerping? So snap rotate. Oh wait, so you like when you push left or right, it will just fully rotate it to the left and fully rotate it to the right. Yes. How can I do that? In this. Okay, we're gonna make a quick character. Let me actually import a. Oh no, I could do it with a simple block. It doesn't really matter too much. So if I make a character here, like so, and I haven't got a mesh to use, so I'm just going to use something basic like a cube, which I don't have. Of course, I don't. Just go to a cube, that'll do. And I'll just scale this up so you can see it a bit clearer. Okay, so we're gonna make this thing, when you push left, it'll rotate around fully. Okay. So let's actually get movement actually in there first of all. So if I let's just do move right. And we're going to add movement input, and access value will go in scale value, and movement input we'll just do in the x-axis here like you've said as 1. We're going to add a camera to this thing on the spring arm and rotate it to its side here. Increase that to 1000. And we're going to add a camera to the end of it. Okay, so let's replace our first person character here with this new one. And I want to process it at the start. And we'll jump in and test that out. Camera not facing the right way. No. Just rotate that. There we go. Right. So I can move left and right here. At the moment it's not doing any rotation stuff yet because we haven't told it to rotate based on movement. So we'll do that. We'll go to character movement and we'll tell it to rotate, orient rotation to movement, and we'll just make this make sure that this we're not using yaw, so that's totally fine for this thing. We're just using key inputs, so it should rotate when it turns round. Oh wait, I have to make the spring arm not inherit the yaw. Not that obvious, is it? Hold on. What have I got ticked on, but I don't need ticked on? Have I got use controller vote? Turn that off. There we go. So you got that turning around, but what you don't want is this sort of thing. When you tap it, it doesn't do that, I assume. So when you tap it once, it will just turn around. That's no problem. We can get that going. Do that. So when we do this, the main thing you want to look about is that you want to change the direction manually. So normally you'd probably have this orient rotation to movement. you don't want that, because you need to change the direction manually. So what we can do here is we can use the controller's desired rotation, like that. And as I tap left and right, I'm going to set the rotation of the controller to that value. This may require a bit of tinkering to get the right direction, but what you do is get the player controller. By the way, it is really hot in the UK today, so apologies if I'm looking very sweaty, because I am. And then you can do set control rotation, and this will be the rotation that it uses. Okay, so do that, and then on this new rotation, I'm going to do a select node, do a select rotator, and we are changing the yaw of the character. So at the moment, the yaw of it is at, if you look here, the yaw of the mesh or the character at the moment is going to be at 0, and that's it when it's facing this way. Facing the other way, it's going to be 180. So we need to check this value here. So what we can do here is simply do a sine, and what sine will do is look if the value is negative or positive and give you -1 or 1. Now the reason why you do that is so that if you're using a thumbstick on a controller like so, if you were to just tap it a little bit, you're not going to get -1 or 1. You're going to just get a decimal value. So if we sine it, it will then round it up to what it needs to be. There's just one way of doing that. There's quite a few ways of doing that, but that's one way of doing it. And we'll do this, and we just say if this is equal to, we'll do 1, which means it's positive. We'll put that in there. If it's 0, by the way, it will output 0. So if it's 1, we'll do a here of 0. I think this would be right, and this would be 180. And this will actually use the rotation rate, so it will use this rotation rate to make it meet that. So if you want to slow it down, speed it up, you change that rate. This I think would do it. It is, but I think I've got the values wrong. I think this one is 180 and that one's 0. I'd said it would need a bit of tinkering. So we just need to tell it to not change back. So what we do here is if it's equal to 1, we'll do what can we do? Just say if it's not equal to 0 as well. And not equal to 0. It'll do that. So if you let go of it, it doesn't revert back to what it was. It should keep. That's what you're aiming for, is that it keeps. Crap. Why won't that keep? What am I missing? Yeah. I need awesome. So sine will make it not make it to 0. 0.1 will make it to 1. Correct. 0.1 would be make it to 1. If it is 0 though, if you've got no input going into it, this would output 0. So if it is equal to 0, I want it to keep whatever value it currently was and not change it. Maybe actually put this into a branch here. Ooh. Rather than an and. Nah, do that. So if it's not equal to 0, it will do something. Just kind of what you want. There you go. So I'm just tapping it and it will fully rotate. And you just change that rotation rate for the animation as you wish. Hopefully that helps you. Who is it? Unreal YouTuber. So hopefully that helps you out there. So to recap, on the move right or move forward, whatever movement code you're doing, you've got your normal movement code, but before you do that, or you can do it afterwards I guess, you want to set control rotation and make the character movement use the control rotation as the desired rotation here. Then you take the sign of the axis value to find if it's positive, negative or 0. If it's not equal to 0, that's when you want it to actually do something. And if it is equal to 1, you're going to make it equal to 180 or 0, it depends on your level layout and which way you've decided X is going to be. So you just tweak those numbers to match your level design. But that's it. That's how you do that. Hopefully that helped you out and you enjoyed that one. Thank you, everyone. So next one, okay, back to Bartasis. I have a little problem with achieving a cool lens effect in UI. I want to make it stretched on the border. You have a texture and I display it on a circle, and I want this texture to be a little stretched close to the circle border. Tricky one. Got a texture on a circle and you want to be stretched. I'm guessing by your description you're doing a fisheye lens of a scope. That's is that correct, Bartasis? Is that what you're trying to do? Okay, if we want to do a scope, okay, a scope effect. Okay, let's try and do a scope effect then. So obviously I'm just going to make something really simple here. Got a time. Let's plug our character back in here. And we'll make it so that when I right click, we'll display this UI, this texture on the screen, okay? So I'm going to go into my character here. Viewport, and I'm going to add a scene capture component to the gun here. Scene capture component. Put that up here. Scale that down. Oh, hello. Just make it a bit smaller so it doesn't take up the whole damn screen. Okay, do that. And we'll go down here, create the render target, sniper scope, we'll call it. And yep, all that's fine. So for this, I kind of want to see the texture at the same time so I can see how it's affecting it. So it's here. So what you're trying to do with a sniper scope effect is better, rather than think about stretching the edge of the try and replicate the image look manually like that. Think of it like a real camera. What is a fisheye lens, like a scope, actually doing? Okay, so that is just increasing the field of view. That's all it's doing. So if I change my field of view over here to make it more narrow. Hopefully that will update the texture here. Let's change that to 15. While I'm doing this, I'll try and answer some other questions as well. Shimaro, you're working with AWS with multiplayer with blueprints. How can I create sessions automatically like GTA 5 and some MMORPG games? Or what's the logic with that? Oh, geez. First of all, I'd advise against trying to do anything like that on your own. It's lots of work. But they would have something like a dedicated server. And the dedicated server is always running instances, okay? So when you launch into a match, it'll try and find a running instance for you. MMORPGs have their servers running 24/7, so you just join those instances. Come on. Update. You need like a login system for MMORPGs because it is persistent, so it needs to remember who you are. So you need an account details for that. You can't store that stuff locally. It's a long answer to a very difficult question. I'd strongly, if you want to try and do something like an MMORPG and all that stuff, I just strongly recommend getting a network engineer to make you a good dedicated server. Okay. Oh yeah, you can't see the texture because of the webcam. You're not missing anything. It's just black. It's not loading for some reason. Oh, there you go. No, it is. It's not going to show. Never mind. It is there. Promise you. So I'm going to create material of my scope thing. And see, it sets up a sniper scope. This is going to be UI based, this thing. So I'm going to change this from surface to user interface. You may have it as part of a model. I don't know. That's entirely up to you. Oh crap! I forgot to hook it up. Is the green lamp new? It's fairly new. I've had it for about a couple of months now. It changes colours. Okay. So there's the texture zoomed in like so. To get it circular, we're going to mask it with a sphere mask. If I can remember how to do a sphere mask. So the first point is the object position, I think. Position. Can never remember this bit. What position? No. Oh, I'm just gonna cheat. I can't remember how you do it now. I can't remember how to do it with just UI stuff. It's on the documentation somewhere. Where are you? Fisnal, no. Sphere mask. There we go. So yeah, object position. No, that's not right for UI. Hold on. The texture coordinate I have to put in, I can't remember now. Found this. I put it on your screen. Yes, texture coordinate for UI. Texture coordinate. And this is another texture coordinate, but basically 0.5, 0.5 to get in the center. Like so. Hardness 100, yep. So we should get radius that 0.5 as well. I can't remember now. Yeah, there you go. So there's our circle, and we're going to multiply that by this. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so there's our circle thing. To stretch it, how would be the best way of doing that? So we could might distort the end of it. Hang on, let me have a look at something. Ba, ba, ba. Oh god, that's a lot of work to get that to work. Must be a better way of doing it. I look tired. I'm alright. I just look like crap all the time. Just look terrible. What years of teaching and having children does to you. How can I get that to stretch? Mate, no. I'm just thinking it'd probably best to somehow do it on the camera. Lens. Image effect. Vignette. We can increase the vignette massively, but it's not going to make the effect. It just darkens the outlines. Probably too dark now. Or not at all. Hang on. Still doing it. I'll have to look into that one, Bartus. I'm thinking like you can just make another sphere mask for the same thing, but and scale it somehow, but that won't you'll get a hard line. It won't look good. If I copy that and give that a radius of 0.45 instead. And then do this, subtract this, and this will get you like a ring. Saw people using the radial gradient blur. Yeah, I guess so, but no, that wouldn't be what you want, I guess. Like we could scale this. How do I scale this? Texture coordinate. I need 2 of these. And if I utile this by 0.8 and 0.8 and then multiply this by that, this won't look right. This is going to look terrible. But I just want to see what it looks like. Then I want to take this, put that on there, then add these 2 together. And so you get this weird effect around the edge here. It's not exactly right. No, hold on. If I do 1.2, you get to see this weird effect around it, but it's not right. Take this, turn the hardness down. Will that have any effect on that? I don't know. Well, oh yeah, because we're doing subtractions, aren't we? I'll have to let me play about with it, and have a come back to that one, Bartus. I'm pretty certain there's a way you could do it in here. If anything, a post-process volume on it, post-process material on it. I just don't know the setup for it. I'll have to mess about with it for a bit. Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, leave it with me. I'll see. I'll see what to do with that. Yeah. Right. Anyway, we have to move back to that one. Apo, are you going to be doing multiplayer vehicles anytime soon? Also, can you put health variable on the widget rather than the player instead, and it will work with multiplayer? So, kind of. There'll be making your first multiplayer game series coming out later this year. There'll be tanks and that thing. And so look, that'll be coming out at some point. Also, can you put health variable on the widget rather than the player instead of, and it will work multiplayer? No, you can't replicate widgets. Okay, widgets are local only. What you do replicate are where the widgets read the information from. So if they're getting the health value from a player character, you replicate the health value from the player characters. Widgets can't replicate, so give up, try and make them work in multiplayer. They are local only to you and show the information to you. They just read information. They don't do anything special. Fire and Frost. Hello Ryan, basic question regarding performance. No matter how hard I try, I can't get a stable 120 FPS in open world with trees and foliage. My GPU is 3070. Is it even possible? So FPS will be affected by so many things. No matter how powerful your GPU is, you will find a point where you can't do everything you want to do. So it depends on how many vertices are being rendered to the screen, how many texture draw calls are being made, particle simulations, physics simulations, AI, all that stuff's going to affect your FPS. So it's going to be hard to tell which one you want to use. Stable 120 FPS in an open world game is rare. I don't know why you'd want that, but I wouldn't. You have to keep in mind as well, not everyone has a 3070, so don't. If you're struggling on your computer, you're going to struggle with. It's going to struggle on a load of your customers' computers as well. Yeah. So, without knowing more information about and seeing your scene and knowing what's going wrong, it's hard to tell. So a few things you can do to help you identify the problems is if you go into these modes up here, you can see not buffer visualization, optimization view modes. You can view these, like for example shader complexity. This will show you the texture draw calls and how expensive they are. So if you've got a load of translucency or refractive stuff, that's going to be expensive. So you may want to limit how you do those. For example, there's a reason why many windows in games are boarded up, closed, or covered by curtains. So you want everything to be green ideally, or dark red. If they don't, then you're looking at a bit more problematic area. Okay, so that's something you can look at and try to identify where the issue is. There's a few other things like light complexity. I've only got one light in here, so it's not a big deal, but that could also help. Yeah, look at all these and try and identify where the problem areas are. Yeah. How do we get the Commando J? How do we get the character to rotate over to where we clicked once? What, like a top-down game? What kind of game is this, Commando? Is it like a top-down game? You click and they rotate to where you clicked. Okay. So, without going into making the whole character, because I'm aware of time, when you click, you should hopefully have got. Do you have the? No, I'll just go for it. So, let's say you got your mouse click button. Okay, so left mouse button. Okay, whatever. So when you click, you want to get the cursor's position in the world. Okay, so I always forget where this is. It's on the controller. I think it's on the controller. Get player controller. Mouse. Oh no, it is under hit result under cursor. There you go. By channel, that'll give you the location, for example. You got that thing out here. So when you got the hit result, or whatever method you're doing to get your clicks, okay, you're going to get a location. This location here. If you want something to rotate towards that location, you got a few options. You can either set actor rotation, and so forth. But what might be better is using the set control rotation. So set control rotation is on the controller object. Set control rotation. You do this, and you've got their current location, and you've got their location of your mouse hit. So you get the actor location, and you got the two together. So you find the look at rotation, and that'll be this location here. And typically you only want the yaw, so you want to split this and split this and just drag the yaw in like that. Then make sure in the character movement you've got it ticked on to rotate using the controller desired rotation, and that will make it rotate towards that point. If you're doing that as well, make sure also that your character is not using the control rotation yaw. Turn that off. If you have that turned on, it's going to override the control. This character movement is going to override that and make it rotate based on the yaw inputs. So don't worry about that. So yeah, that's it. Ahmet, did not understand what memory is. Could you explain it basically, please? Okay, so when you load up a game, it doesn't just load. The way it works is it's got to load in assets and details. So it loads it all in and stores it in memory. And that memory has several locations in computer. You've got RAM, you've got VRAM, you've got places where it can go. It depends on what you are loading. You have a budget of how much you can load into the game at one point. And in most game engines, Unreal for example, I believe anyway, what it works is if you start using too much memory, it will clear the stuff that isn't being used. So it will look at what isn't being used and clear it. So widgets, for example, work this way. If the widget isn't being used, it will remain in memory until it's not needed and then needs that space. It will then get rid of it. But you need like an engineer to know exactly what it's doing underneath the hood. I don't know what else to explain without going into the nitty gritty of silicon and whatnot, but when you load up a game, load up a map, it's loading stuff into memory, and you kind of want to keep an eye on how much you're loading at one time. So the biggest thing people do that's a big no-no is they make massive open worlds and don't realize that it's loading in so much stuff. It's not rendering it all. It's very different rendering, but it's still there. So if you want to keep adding more stuff to it, you're going to eventually have problems with that. So something to watch out for. Yeah. Deadfire Studios. Hey Ryan, I'm making a basketball game. How would I make a score system when a basketball passes through a net? It adds a score to the player's screen. So we can actually try and make that, because I have a gun that shoots a ball. So let's go through that. No. And let's make a basketball net. Why am I getting widget? Blueprint class. Losing my mind. Actor net. So you got. So the issue I'm thinking of is how do you detect that it's gone through the top to the bottom? Okay, so how do you know it's gone through the hoop? Okay. So you got a few ways you can do this. Let's try and make something simple here that we can use. Like that, and we'll do a box collision, and that'll be the net. Oh, a sphere collision probably be better than that, but never mind. We'll keep it like that. So you've got two things you can do. One thing, probably the simplest way of doing it, is you have two collision areas. So if I duplicate that, so you have two collision areas like this, and you detect that it goes through the top one first, and then you check if it enters the second one. So the second one will only trigger if the first one gets triggered. So, for example, and event component begin overlap. This is for box one, the top one. Box one is the top one, or box is the top one, box one is the bottom one. and we take the other actor. If it's equal to, well, I'll just do cast to projectile because that's what I'm shooting at it. If that's true, then we'll make a simple variable which does I don't know, valid, I don't know, I'll call it whatever I want, and then valid, we can go set that to true and do that. Then we do a component box 1, we can overlap the actor, cast 2, first person projectile, and we check also if it's valid is true. Get is valid, put that into a branch, and we'll make this print string. We'll do, oh my god, stop, scored. Then to make it so it clears that valid, what I'm going to do is make this top box here, I'll make it larger so it goes through this. Okay, so it's in between, like it covers the first box, the other box as well. So then on this one I do end overlap and just set it valid to false, and that should work. Let's put one in the game here. This is going to go terribly because I'm not going to be able to score this to save my life, but we'll try. I'll make it really big. Okay, so where is it? There it is. So if I aim up like this, oh, they're dying too quick. Hold on. Yeah, let's make the projectiles a lot slower. Let's make that, I don't know, 500. Oh, hold on, they're blocking it. Hold on. Box. Yeah, we need to change that. Custom overlap. Now, this is just one way of doing it. You could also do like a check to see the direction of the ball is falling, but yeah, it's just one way of doing it. Scored. 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 Okay. Let's say that's just one way of doing it. But I mean, let's have a look at it. Vanguard, what happened to the building series? Last time I asked you on stream about 2 months ago, you said you would record them later that day or later that week, but that's 2 months later now. What happened? So, what happened to the building series? So what actually happened was, I still want to finish it, and it will be finished. The problem that occurred was, if you're a teacher, there's a couple of months which are the worst months to try and do any extracurricular stuff. That is June and September. June, basically, I was wrapping up working at the college. So I had to wrap up everything I was doing and do handover stuff, and also was just trying to just mark off a load of work, get sorted up to exams, get my students to get their qualifications, just loads and loads of work. It was hard. It was a hard couple of months, especially during the pandemic. This year's been just trying to get stuff sorted out. It's difficult. And I wasn't just a teacher, I was a manager as well of the area, so I was looking after just not my courses and like games courses, but looking after other courses as well, and looking after staff, making sure they were okay, things like that. and it just got kind of stuff like that got on the back burner. I did record something in it, but I weren't happy with it because I was so exhausted. I kept making mistakes, and I knew I had to go re-edit loads of it. So I decided I'm going to go back and redo it at some point. But now I'm doing this full time. I will be going back to it. I don't know when exactly, but I will be going back to it. Part of me wants to try and get models looking half decent in it, so you can tell what things are apart. But yeah, it will happen. Now my college career is over and I'm doing this full time. I should, in theory, have more time to do stuff like that. So I'm hoping to do that, and that be the case. That's alright, Vanes guys. Yeah, it is June's a hard time. How would you get the ball to move a cloth sim? Okay, so let's hold on. Do I have a shape in here? So let's say I've got this tube here. I'm going to duplicate this so I don't mess up the other one. That was tube. This is my net. If you want this to simulate with cloth, it needs to be a skeletal mesh, doesn't it? I don't think you can do it with a static mesh. Let me double check. I'm pretty certain it's the case. I think it is only skeletal meshes. Poop. Okay. Unless people are aware of something else on here I'm missing, but I'm probably saying can I do skeletal meshes. Okay, we'll do it skeletal mesh. LJed, yes, you'll be level streaming. Look it up, I've got a video on it. That would be how you do it, level streaming. I don't think I can convert this to anything else, can I? Ow, poop. I don't have... So, in theory, you'd have the mesh, okay? It'd be a skeletal mesh. Is there a way to convert it? Let me double check. Convert. Mesh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it this way around. Hold on. So we have to take this, export it. I'll check on my desktop for now. Yep. And import it in. Tube shape, was it? No, shape tube. There you go, shape tube. And take skeletal mesh and import. Yep, that's fine. Don't need that. Okay, so we've got the skeletal mesh here. And we have to go into activating cloth paint. We have to select the section first. Pardon me. Create clothing data from it. Sure. Activate cloth paint. There you go. And then you paint what bits are floppy. So we need to change the brush size. Where's that? Down here, isn't it? Yeah. So you just paint which parts are clothy. So you want to leave the top part not white because then it will stay there. Okay. Okay. Oh, there was a way to test it in here as well. What way was it? It was... Oh no, I'll just put it into the game. Be easier. There is a way to test it in that. I just can't remember what it is. Put that in there. And go simulate. And probably need to hit it or something. Hold on. Stop. What? What have I messed up? What have I forgotten to do? Commander Jake, make sure you've got it ticked to use controller desired rotation. And untick the use controller yaw in the root of it. What am I missing from this? Go into here, change this to be smaller maybe. I'll just move it out of the way. There you go. That affect it? No. What have I forgotten? Hold on. Cloth previews H, that's the shortcut for that. Yeah. No, it should like be all fine as it is. I shouldn't have to change anything there. Why isn't this working? You've turned off orient. No, you have to turn on the orient movement. No, hang on. Hang on. So let me go back to Commandos thing. So on the player character, on the character movement, you want to turn on use controller desired rotation, and then go into the class defaults and turn off use controller rotation yaw. Turn that off. Oh. Oh, hold on. No, it's not enabled, disabled. So no physics won't work because the whole thing will just drop. Yeah. What is going on? I'm looking at documentation. I haven't missed anything. Oh. Apply clothing data. There you go. Yeah, you can see it crumpled up already. Right, wait for it to finish compiling the shaders. You have to apply it. My bad. While we are answering the last few questions now. Vitoro, so if I'm pronouncing that very wrong. So optimizing stuff, I got a question. What's the drawback about having lots of LODs? What's better, 3 to 4 with max and smallest amount of triangles, or lots of smooth LODs? Memory. You've got more models taking up more space, more things to load in. If you've got loads to load in, then that's more stuff it's got to keep track of and load in. Because when you load up a model, it's loading in. It's got to constantly go to memory and read for that memory and write to that memory and so forth all the time. So that's the downside to that. Also, you just don't need it a lot of the time. You'd be surprised how much you can get away with just some basic LODs without doing much work to them. There you go. So obviously you need a thinner material. It should react to that. Sure. I go to simulate. Right, there's the net. Why wouldn't that hit it? Thanks, Bartuses. And thank you, Kamala Jake, for their support. Apo, I finished a mini-map series and tried to make it rotate the material rather than the whole thing because it is a square. Nothing is working using a custom rotor. Any help would be great. Man, I'll have to go have a look at that because I haven't looked at mini-map stuff for like, well, since I made that series probably. It's mental. Nerd Ninja, is it not simulate physics to turn off gravity? No, because you still want gravity to affect the drop of the physics that react to the physics asset. The cloth is something different. I need to hang on. I need to look up what you do to do that. Ba, 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 ba. So apparently, where's that? Probably in here then. No search box either. Useful. Self collision. Apparently, there's a saying for colliding with environment, but I don't see it. But apparently the problem is they don't interact well with non-static meshes. I don't know. No, there you go. Collide with environment. Oh, stop. Tick that. Play, simulate. Yeah, so it collide with the floor there, but I don't think it will collide with non-static meshes. We can double check that. Yeah, I think you need to be static. I would imagine most games that use basketball don't use physics. They would use just an animation of it flipping and just make it play the animation when it hits it, I would imagine, but I don't know. I have to look up if there's a way to get that working with moving things. Oh, that's the wrong one. Actually, close my chat window. I'll have a look at that one. Okay, we're going to end it now. I'll answer the last couple of questions and then we'll end it because it is gone past the time normally. Where are we looking? Ryan, this is from LJed. Ryan, thank you for your work in RTS series. I grew up with Age of Empires, StarCraft, etc., and it seems to be nearly dead genre. I hope you, with your help, we can keep it alive. Yeah, I hope so too. It's fun. It's been a fun series to make so far. Vanguard, I don't know if you've already made published commercial games, but if you haven't, or even if you have, are you planning on making a full game for release and possibly devlogs on it? I have released published made my own games. You can download one at the moment, still on Android. I'm doing this full time. I'm hoping I have a bit more free time to do more stuff. So there are plans to do stuff and publish it. It's just a matter of time. And yes, there will be devlogs of it when I do get going on it. So the first few months of doing this full time, it's going to involve a lot of creating new content and updating a lot of the tutorial content. So one of my goals is to improve the tutorial content, such as improving the structure of it, to make it more interesting, more coherent, and easier to follow, and easier to find what you need. And also be in a position where I can upload and give patrons the whole series of videos, rather than do one at a time and do it from the whole series and then release one at a time afterwards. My idea is, as well as some other videos that I want to do that are related but not, it's something new basically. Once I've got that settled and comfortable and working on that just fine, then hopefully I have time to work on publishing my own stuff again. And I do like making games, releasing them. So yeah, it's interesting. Commander Jake, are you planning on making an Niagara FX series? Yeah, we've started it and we'll be doing more on that in due time. Yes. There is lot more to talk about in Niagara. I'm not the greatest artist in the world, so I do my best with it. But we'll see. No Ninja, on any of my series have I set up any root motion system for character movement? What, for entire character? No, not for entire character. Not yet though. There will be one coming semi shortly. We'll see how well other bits do. But there is plans to do something along those lines. We'll wait and see on that one. Jason D, do you know of a way to set up IK system for legs with more than 2 bones? The IK solvers in UE4 either don't have pole vectors, aka joint locations, or don't bend correctly. You can make your own IK setup. It does have pole, what you would call pole vectors. They call it something different though. Where would it be? It's not called pole vectors, I don't think. I'm pretty certain it does. Hang on. IK. You got leg IK. Does it have a leg IK? If not, it has on the other ones. Yeah, don't use leg IK. It's not that one. It is 2 bone IK. So you got effector location and joint target location. The pole vectors is, I think it's the joint target location one. I think, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a big animated person. I'm it's something like this on here. It's not called a pole vector. It's one of these ones. I think it's this one, the joint target location. It's where it's pointing to. Whereas the effect, like if you like where you put your knee, for example, the effect is where you put your foot. Oh, thank you, Commander Jake. So I want to be more organised. That's one thing I want to be really take forward in this, is be really organised. I've got a whiteboard over there with my plan of stuff to improve and do stuff. A lot of the stuff you won't see yet for a while, because it's going to take time to record all of it, because it's going to involve a lot more stuff. But it will absolutely 100% improve the overall quality of stuff. And I say this is something I want to carry on doing full time, so I can only do that if I bring my A game to it. And now I have more time to do it. I'm not trying to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning anymore. Like if you go look at the tutorial recordings, you'll see the time, like in the corner of the computer. You can see what times I'm doing them. Sometimes it's ridiculous. So yeah. That only works for 2 bones and a leg. How many bones have you got? What are you trying to do? What kind of character? No, I don't know. Only works for 2 bones. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you're trying to make. You trying to make like a spider thing, I guess. Thanks, Chris. And thanks, Vanguard, for the high praise. I could only dream of being like Brackies one day. Would I consider a tutorial on procedural mesh damage? It's on the to-do list. Like, the to-do list is crazy at the moment. You got what's like, so a teaser of some summer series coming up. The next. So after the equipment system series that started coming out today on YouTube, there are 5 episodes so far on Patreon. There'll probably be about 10 in total after that it's finished. But there's that. There's online sessions tutorial series that's still going on. That's got to be finished as well as the building series, which we've already covered. But as for new stuff that hasn't been started recording yet, that will be coming soon. JRPG stuff. And also cinematic dialogue, where you've got like a cutscene. You've got like sort of Witcher style, where you've got cutscenes, you've got dialogue choices, and it just dictates what happens in the cutscene and who says what, and so forth. So that will be happening shortly too. But yeah, it's that, the JRPG. And at the moment, it looks as though we're going to hit the goal of 750 patrons by the end of the month. At the moment, we're at 771, but we have to wait till the end of the month to see the final number, because it's weird. Patreon's weird. But if that's above 750, then we'll do, as one of the goals is once RTS series is finished, is go on to make an FPS Deathmatch Arena multiplayer game, like a Quake type thing. Yeah. Cinematic dialogue is quite cool. I'm doing it with someone at the moment for private sessions, so it'd be something I can do later. But yeah. Anyway, we're going to call it a night there. It's been a long one, so thank you very much for everyone's question today. If you didn't get your question answered, don't fret. You can come by next Wednesday for another question time. We do this every Wednesday at 11 PM BST, so wherever that is, wherever you are now. And as I say, we do it every Wednesday. Every Saturday as well, we'll be doing a live stream as well. That is not question time, but something else. So this, I don't know what this Saturday will probably be. It'll probably be another just tutorial session. So we'll see what we do with that. There's lots of cool stuff on the books on my whiteboard over here, coming very, very soon, and I cannot wait to share that with you. Yeah, let's look forward to that. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night, stay safe, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday. Bye, everyone, and take care. Bye bye.